Good morning, Stuart, Florida. My name is Dr. Treds Podcast, and I am so pleased that you tuned in today. You're listening to the Slim Body Laser Spa show on health and wellness, with an emphasis on how today's lasers, medical lasers, are being used to help you to feel better, to look better, to have less pain, less inflammation. This laser therapy changed my life 12 years ago in my practice. I'm now the laser doc here in the area. I'm using lasers for pain relief, for tissue healing, for neuropathy, for stiff and painful shoulders, and of course, my flagship product is the Slim Body Laser Spa, and we're using non-invasive, low-level laser technology to help you to lose stubborn fat. Let me repeat that. A laser lying on your back 3 times a week for 3 weeks, 9 sessions in 3 weeks, 30 minutes of applying this gentle laser energy, not a cutting laser, not a burning laser. It's very gentle, red light, and it releases calories, and you lose inches every time you do it. I didn't believe it when it was introduced to me. I had to sit there with my wife in West Palm Beach, and they demonstrated it, and I tried to poke holes in it. I tried to figure out, what is the scam here? What's happening? Because, as you know, if you have to eat less and exercise to lose weight, and where these lasers are incredibly effective is at inch reduction, and then you eat less and exercise to lose weight. But the laser gives you the energy and the desire, because you get hope. I mean, it's so difficult to change our body shapes, our composition, body fat, lean muscle mass, things like that. And with the laser, the results are even better than they've ever been. I'm floored by the results we're having in the office, the hundreds and hundreds, thousands of clients, patients that have been in to see the spa, have been in to see me in 10 years. I've just celebrated 10 years at my Stuart location, and that would be at 2311 Southeast Ocean Boulevard, Stuart, Florida. We are right next to Carmela's Pizza, across the street from the Fresh Market. I have free consultations, always a free consultation. Why do I do a free consultation? Not that it's not valuable, it's just that I don't want any reason for you not to come in and find out if it could help you. It's such a new technology, it's such a new process, and you can't really go online and get much truth about it. There's so much misrepresentation, and everybody's got their own angle when it comes to online searching. You don't even know if the website that you're looking at is promoted by another manufacturer, and it's not giving you the truth. It's also hard to go to your doctor and say, hey doc, I saw this Slim Body Laser Spa in Stuart. They said they could put a laser on me and I could lose weight and fat. What do you think? That doctor probably has no understanding, no data on this procedure. So, as doctors do, and they should, they go on the side of caution. They err on the side of caution, and typically they'll tell you, I don't recommend it, I don't know enough about it to recommend it, so I would tell you not to do it. I get that. My clients have got that a lot. And then they come into the spa, my laser-assisted weight loss center called the Slim Body, and the first thing that jumps out at you is walls and walls of testimonials. Now, I could tell you all day long, and I'm prepared to tell you for the next hour how well it works, but I have something to gain from it. You become a client. I can, it's my business model. However, if you see 350 signed 8x10 testimonials with a person's face written in their own handwriting, signed by them, that line every wall from the bathroom all the way down the long hallways in the consultation room, in the waiting area when you come in, I'd say there's probably 50 in the waiting area. It's overwhelming when you see it. And what I've done with each one of those testimonials is they are 3 times a week for 3 weeks. Nobody that did a testimonial at the Slim Body Laser Spa had more than 9 sessions in 3 weeks for that testimonial. It's very important to me that when you read something from the Slim Body, any of our literature, any of our promotional material, that you know that this result that you're looking at was done in 3 weeks. That is hugely motivating. And I want you to know, there's no healing time, there's no tissue repair, there's no downtime. You don't have to wait 6 to 12 to 4 weeks like with some of these other procedures, like the fat freezing or the fat burning. You have to wait 6 months to 12 months with liposuction before the inflammation and the swelling goes down. So if you're looking to look better for an event coming up in 4 or 5 weeks, don't do those. You'll be all bruised up and still swollen after that. Come to the Slim Body Laser Spa. You will walk out 3 weeks later, God be my witness, 3 to 6 to 9 inches difference in circumference on some of you in only 3 weeks. I lost 4 inches in circumference in 3 spots. My belly button, 1.5 inches below my lower abdomen, and my upper abdomen just under my chest. Each was a 4-inch reduction in only 3 weeks. My waist measured a 40, and I went down to a 36 waist in only 3 weeks. I did this in 2012. I'd also done it when I first bought the procedure back in 2009 when I first discovered this lipo laser. And that week that we got the laser, and my whole staff, we were so excited because, we're in our 40s and 50s, and gosh knows we could use a little help. And I took that laser, I sat in my consultation area, I had a lazy boy chair that we used when we would do some neuropathy treatments, and I put those paddles on my belly for the 30 minutes, and I'd say after 3 weeks, I lost 8 inches. 8 inches around my midsection, and that would be about 2.5 to 3 inches in circumference. Well, it was I couldn't believe it, and I didn't change my food at all.
Are you on the speakerphone?
But I didn't lose any weight.
Yes, please.
I didn't lose any weight, and so I thought, well, I'm not really going to promote weight loss with this. This isn't for weight loss. This is for spot fat reduction and body sculpting, and gosh knows it works, and there's no downtime, and it's a fantastic process. So what happened over time, I started to realize that more and more people were coming in that needed weight loss along with body sculpting, and in 2012, I changed my process, and I started to include traditional weight loss body sculpting at the same time. So,
Darren.
So what happens is, as I'm talking about these testimonials, it's something that is very, very important to me that other people can share their story with testimonials. So we've managed to open up our lines to have you come in and share your testimonial. And Darren, I think, is on the line, right? Hey Darren, how's it going? Nice, thank you for calling. So give us your story, bro. Tell us what's going on. Thank you for choosing Slim Body, by the way. I appreciate it. I know they got you at the flea market, right? And she's like, hello. Here, would you like a flyer? That's how she got you, right? She holds that flyer out. Everybody has to grab it, So tell us a little bit about yourself. Not too private, but what you struggled with and why the Slim Body was an option and how many inches you lost. Okay. Had you tried any exercise? I'm sure you're an active guy, though. Kind of plateaus. Right. So you came to the spa. I did a consult with you, right? talked about what was going on, made sure you had no contraindications, which were like none. There's very little that why we can't do it. And I recommended 3 times a week for 3 weeks. And you began, right? How did you do? How many inches did you lose around your midsection? Wow. And after 9 sessions? Did you feel better? More energy? That's wonderful. So I'd say you'd recommend it to other people as you're doing right now. Yeah, cool. All right, well, there was no pain, no discomfort, right? Quite amazing how easy it is, right? So you're on your back 30 minutes with the laser, the girl moves them around, and then you go in for 10 minutes on the whole body vibration. You're probably doing 20 by now, right? So I don't want anyone to be scared when you hear whole body vibration. It's basically an exercise machine that you stand on, and it moves up and down like a teeter board. You separate your feet, it goes up and down, and it's kind of relaxing. It moves you. It's strong, but it's also powerfully. It helps with circulation, right? Did you have any problem with? It didn't hurt your knee, right?
No, not at all. Actually made it feel better when I
You were surprised, right? Because a little concerned about that. Yeah, and that's great. All right, well, that sounds great, Darren. I guess there's not a lot else anything else you'd like to add? With the staff, we're good to you?
Yeah, I've been super nice.
Great. All right, that sounds good, Darren. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye. That was great. A man of few words, but what he says is really important because, it worked. And 50 or so years old, a little younger than me. I'm 59. And we actually had a lot of similar friends in the area because, I went to Martin County High School, 1979. Clara Fulton was my principal. Remember it very well. And so now when I do these consults and a lot of the people come in, they remember me and my family from being from Stuart. So I just want to thank Darren personally for that testimonial, and you too can benefit from the Slim Body Laser Spa. I mean, this thing really, really works. I've been doing this radio show now for close to 8 years, maybe 9. And I haven't had testimonials on every show, but definitely, more than 3/4 to 90% we've had testimonials. So that would be close to 300 to 400 people have shared their story right here on the radio who live in the area, or maybe they live in New York and are here for the weekend, for the winter, but they're real people, and I love to hear the testimonials because sometimes if I'm a little downtrodden, life seems tough, difficult. Occasionally, I'll go in and I'll read some of those testimonials. I'll read their stories, and I remember how they felt when they came in. The skepticism, the wondering if it was really going to work, the need for a guarantee result, and then to see the testimonial afterwards of their pleasure with the process, the effect, the quick result. I don't know. It's quite amazing. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. So I am going to give you just some fun stuff today. So you know who I am and what I do, laser body sculpting. If you want to get rid of weight, if you've been challenged with a health crisis and the doctor is telling you, hey, either you lose weight or you're going to have some serious health complications, maybe that's something that you're dealing with today. Maybe you're like Darren and you busted your knee up and your exercise has been hampered because you can't exercise, so the extra weight, you're gaining weight because you can't exercise. We can help you with that for sure. Maybe you are somebody who had a health crisis in the last couple of years, or maybe you've been put on some medications and the medications are causing weight gain. I just had a client come in. She had a hyperthyroidism where she had a goiter. Her thyroid was swollen and it was enlarged, and they were going to radiate it. And she's like, I don't know if I want to do radiation. And she worked on treating it naturally, and it did come down. And what happened is she had to be put on the Armour thyroid, thyroid replacement. And she's under medical supervision with it. But since that happened, her weight, she can't control her weight. And she's very disciplined. This isn't somebody who is sneaking at night and powering through chocolate cake. This is somebody who is eating, counting calories, exercising a lot, doing what was always used to work for her. Now at 60 years old, with the thyroid problems, it's not working the same. And she's accumulating belly fat instead of losing belly fat. And it's perplexing. And her doctors, the endocrinologist, the OBGYN, they really gave her no solutions for this weight gain. And she was contemplating on stopping with the thyroid medication and trying to get another solution, and even thinking of more invasive things like fat burning or fat freezing, or these very, invasive procedures. When compared to what I'm doing, they're invasive. I just want you to know that. Compared to surgery, nothing is as invasive as surgery. So when they tell you that the fat freezing or the fat sculpting, the hot lasers or the cold processes are non-invasive, bye-bye bulge, that's their tagline, like you could just say goodbye to it. The problem is 80% of you out there that are adults, which means you're over 19 years old, you're overweight, which is over 25% body fat, from 25 to 30. And the other 40% of that 80% are obese, with body fat over 30 to 35%. You are not a good candidate for these semi-non-invasive procedures. They're too subtle, they're too minimal, they're not going to make any huge changes for you. But the providers, a lot of them don't tell you that, or they do tell you that and you do it anyway, and then you're unhappy. And you can't expect a small area the size of a stick of butter, such as with the fat freezing. When that stick of butter is released and it's absorbed by the body after 3 months, it's only a spot that's about as big as a stick of butter, and it actually can have like a cup, like a depression there following that treatment, because it doesn't treat the other areas around it. It's like having a beautiful lawn and taking a chunk of sod out with a shovel, pulling it out because that one chunk was up higher than everything else. Maybe there was something you didn't like and you didn't replace it with another piece of grass. You're going to have a hole there. And that's what happens with many of these other procedures. Now, it's subtle. It's not as drastic as taking grass out of the lawn, trust me, but you can see it. And I've had people come in after those procedures where, when you look at it, it looks like a depression right where that device was applied, and around it, the fat is enlarged. It actually has built tissue around it, and that is something called fat migration or fat relocation, and that is something which is lately becoming, it's in the news because more and more people are having these procedures that destroy fat, and then your body absorbs the destroyed fat as dead tissue, or you're sucking fat cells out, or you're shooting injection of poison into the fatty tissue to destroy it, like the Kybella, or the microneedling where they use to destroy it, and under the belief that if I can just get rid of my fat, I'll be better off. But you're not. Your fat is called your adipose tissue. That's what we call it as a doctor. Adipose is fat tissue. And adipose tissue surrounds your whole body. It's all over your body, and it is it's part of your endocrine system. That means it's as important as your thyroid gland, as your adrenals, as your ovaries, as your sex hormones. Fat is part of that system. They complement one another. Fat supports those hormonal changes. And the other thing that fat does is it also stores extra calories if you were preparing to go into a long time without food. Or it also cushions the joints, the fat in your body. It's like an insulator. It protects things from sloshing around. You need fat. And what happens is when you take away fat, when you suck it out, burn it with the hot lasers, which are very out there, or you use an electrical pulse, or you're using radio frequency, the RF, or you're pulling the skin into a suction machine, clamping it for 50 minutes and freezing it, and then releasing the clamp, and then you have this hard lump, red swollen lump. I know I'm describing this and it sounds horrible, but that's what they're doing. That tissue where that procedure was done is gone. And that would be fine if the body adapted and was okay with it, but what happens in many people is the body will react by growing more fat cells or increasing the size of fat cells in other areas. It's called fat migration, it's called fat relocation, and it is definitely a problem with anything that destroys the fatty tissue. My low-level laser does not destroy the fat. It uses a very gentle energy, and after 8 to 10 minutes, this low energy, it creates the contents of a fat cell, attracts the laser energy because it's mainly water, and then after 10 minutes, little pores form around the membrane of the fat cell. It's like a little grape, and little holes are formed, safely, and then the contents of the grape, the contents of the fatty cell, is released into the tissue. After 10 minutes of applying that paddle to that tissue, and you do it for 30 minutes, move it around 3 times, you can release 600 calories. 600 calories of free fatty acid, water, and glycerol are released from those fat cells. Now here's the challenge. We're using the laser to release the calories from an area that is, where you can squeeze with your fingers. You can grab the inner part of your thighs, and that soft fat, that's what we're treating. The stuff if you make a muscle in your belly and you feel that muscle, the fat behind that is called visceral fat, and we can't change that. None of the procedures can change that. You have to eat less, exercise, drink more water, stay away from bad foods if you want to lose visceral fat. Now, subcutaneous fat is on the outside of the body, and when you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, and you have excessive amounts of subcutaneous fat, most likely you're just eating too much. And you need to back off the food, exercise more, and those two areas will start to shrink equally. Now, when you turn 50 years old, or you're under a lot of stress, you have something that's called menopause. In men, it's called andropause. Now, we don't like to talk about it as men, but our hormones take a dump when you're in your 50s and 60s, similar to a female. And both men and females after 50 will end up with stubborn, accumulated fat on the outside of the body versus the inside. So they might have a very low body fat percentage on my machine and have an excessive amount of outside fat, subcutaneous, the rolls, the muffin top, the love handles, the belly flap that comes down over the stomach area there. Those areas, when you're over 50 and 60 and 70, they do not respond to diet and exercise the same as it did when you were younger. Most people will 100% testify to that. Now, there are exceptions. There are people who, when I do these talks and these explanations, there'll be people that will jump up and say, look at me, I'm 76 years old. Look at my stomach. I do 50 push-ups a day, 50 sit-ups a day. I've been doing it since I was in the military. And you're like, okay, that's great. How many people here want to do that? It's wonderful. You can do that. God bless you. I had somebody else say, well, it's not the same as your vibration plates are not the same as riding a bicycle or running or walking. And I said, well, that's true. But how many people don't want to ride bicycles or can't? They don't want to get hit on the highway, or they don't, because of a foot problem or a knee problem, they can't run and walk anymore. So the vibration plate is critically important for them. But somebody who comes in, it's usually the really fit people that will criticize it, because they found their solution is exercise and diet, and they're good at it and they love it and it's become passionate for them. But that's not the world. I mean, look around. Okay, so that's kind of what is my thing with Slim Body Laser Spas. We can help you when other situations have failed. If you're struggling to lose weight, there are 5 reasons why you should call the Slim Body Laser Spa and schedule a free consultation with me. And you can try my unique laser-assisted weight loss system. Okay, here's the first one, and this is really true. Number 1, you're overweight, 20 to 30 pounds overweight, and you're over 50 years old. If you're over 50 years old and you're 20 or 30 pounds overweight, you are at a huge risk, a huge 40% risk compared to someone of normal weight of developing vascular disease, type 2 diabetes, strokes, or even neurological, mental problems like dementia or Parkinson's or Alzheimer's. This is from being overweight. Now, this is well proven. In fact, you're more likely, if you're 20 to 30 pounds overweight and you're over 50 years old, you're more likely to die from that problem than somebody who was cigarette smoking. It's more of a risk having weight today than it was 20 years ago. Yet, we're walking around and we don't seem to care until the doctor comes knocking at the door, or as the ambulance comes to your house. If you're lucky enough, you made it to the clinic before that, and now you're dealing with all the problems that come from the weight. And then now you say, I'm going to lose weight today. 65 years old, carrying this weight around, and it's hard. It's like, oh my God, if I'd known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. If I'd known I was going to live this long, I would have not allowed myself to be so overweight for so long. And I think that I can bust a move when I'm 55 or 60 and get it all off. Well, guess what? If you've been carrying around more than 50 pounds, and you've had it for, you're over 50, 60 years old, or even younger, and you lose that weight, you're probably going to need a you're probably going to need skin removal. Why wait for that? Do it before it gets that bad. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, 2 minutes. I'm going to come back and I'm going to go over the rest of my list of the 5 most important reasons that you might need help with losing weight, and reasons why you should call the Slim Body Spa.